It's the Redirect Podcast. Search industry research, discussion, and analysis from the Black Truck Media and Marketing Headquarters. And now, redirecting you to the Black Truck team.
Welcome to episode 45 of the Redirect Podcast. It is Friday, May 11th, 2018. I'm Jason Dodge, founder of Black Truck Media and Marketing, joined this week by a whole crew, Patrick, Ashley, and Adrian from the Black Truck team. Happy Friday.
Hey.
Happy Friday.
Hashtag blessed.
Oh, boy. Well, now that we've gotten that all out of the way.
See, I'm not always cold.
Oh,
right.
No.
Man, well, we took a week off. We took a little week hiatus. Ashley was in Canada. Yeah,
She was out of country.
Toronto.
Hey.
Yeah, sorry. And
I heard that way more than I expected to.
see,
I don't know why you don't just believe us when we tell you things.
Well, I knew that I would, but on Saturday, it was always sorry and A. I heard it so much more than I expected.
every time you got bumped into, wasn't it?
Well, it wasn't even bumping into. It was like I dropped my purse as someone who worked at a restaurant walked by, and he said sorry and picked it up and gave it to me, even though I dropped it. So, yep.
So polite in Canada.
What the hell's wrong with
It was
the U.S.?
lovely. I loved my visit.
Did you buy the T-shirt?
No, I didn't see one.
That's probably an American thing. All right, so let's jump right in. A bunch of things happened in the past couple of weeks. Everything from Google I.O., which I'm prepared to discuss and talk about since that happened this week. Industry news, WordStream, the highly, respected PPC management platform. We've played with it before too. Pat and I have had some experience there. They got acquired by Gannett, however you want to pronounce them, for a pretty good chunk of money, about $150 million. That's not too bad for a tech startup. I'm anxious to see what a news company does with that.
Well, it's going to drive it into the ground.
Well, that's I think
big multimedia companies sometimes, well, let's say often do.
We're talking about WordStream, to be clear. I don't know if you actually mentioned the name.
He did.
I did.
He did? Okay. Then
Yep.
Sorry.
Sorry,
eh?
So WordStream, the highly respected PPC management tool, primarily for AdWords and Bing. It's a tool that a lot of small businesses use. Some agencies use to really help them automate and facilitate changes, keep tabs on their PPC campaigns, and make recommendations and changes. It's interesting. I think that WordStream, I should say, I think Larry Kim exited at the proper time. WordStream's acquisition from Gannett is good, also because a lot of those items that were in WordStream, we were starting to see in the beta release of AdWords last year, a year and a half ago, in terms of recommendations and keeping an eye out for things. If you were a knowledgeable PPC manager, you should have been able to put the recommendations that Google was making and your own intuition together, probably coming up with some similar approaches. So that's kind of cool. But on that, Adrian, I know you have another piece of fun things.
R.I.P. Klout. So remember when Klout was a thing and everyone cared about your number? Yes. And everyone cared about your number and how influential you were in certain topics like
social media,
boat building, and
an episode
other
of Black
things.
Mirror?
Kind of. And it was acquired.
They were actually acquired
in like 2013 or 14 by Lithium.
I think I deleted my Klout at that point.
That sounds rather elitist of you.
It was the hipster thing to do at the time.
Mm-hmm. And so Klout was pretty cool for a little while anyway, because you could get free stuff, right? You could, based on your number out of 100, you could be, more or less influential in a specific space. And that earned you free stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So you had your own domain authority?
By company. And then you were able to get things like, I don't know, McDonald's would reward you with like gift cards, and you would try their products first and then talk about them on Twitter or Facebook. And so it attached all of your social media accounts to your Klout account and then created a number for the type of content that you created and what you talked about. It gave you a ranking for like what you were influential in.
Wow.
And so Lithium is sunsetting it the same day as GDPR Day, basically, which is sort of, a lot of people have been pointing to that, like maybe that's part of the problem, part of the reason it's going away, so they don't have to update any of that.
Could be.
And then allegedly they're turning their efforts to artificial intelligence and also a Twitter client that ranks people also. So you would have just a Twitter ranking.
Almost like an
sort.
like an influencer insight type tool for Twitter.
I don't know. They already have the little verified accounts, and like there's already ways to kind of judge whether or not people, I guess. So I don't know. I mean, they haven't. There's not been an article I've read that has really had a good handle on what that looks like. And when they put it out from the letter from their CEO, it was really, really vague. So
well, I think it's interesting because people got hung up on Klout score at a certain point. I mean, I remember even seeing it on people's resumes that were using it from like a social media prowess perspective, and
well, I think,
they never really got into what they were shown as an expert in.
Well, something that I think was what was really important about Klout, because it gave you a score based on certain things that you talked about a lot, or that people referenced with your Twitter or Facebook handle. But it's like, it was sort of like the only third party endorsement.
That's a good point.
So your score made you influential in these 10 or 15 topics. And so, I mean, that was the measuring stick for influence of social media or Grand Rapids or whatever it was that you probably talked a lot about.
And you couldn't fake that because it was based on what you were actually putting out there.
Yeah.
Which means apparently, according to my Klout score, since I just reauthorized it real quick during this conversation, I am authoritative source on Quicken Loans. So I'm an expert on Quicken Loans.
That actually came up in mine too, and I'm curious why that was, because I haven't looked at that in, probably years by now.
The other ones I totally get. It's anything from analytics, AdWords, SEO, Michigan, skiing, snowboarding, web development. Also, Michigan State University, that's probably because of the whole Larry Nassar debacle, and I was probably dropping the F-bomb left and right on my personal Twitter account about MSU.
Yeah, so there was never any really clear distinction of what was offered to people that gave Klout perks, I guess. So I guess I never really understood how people got what and who got what.
Did you get free stuff? Because I got free stuff.
I remember a lot of times when like McDonald's would launch a new product or something, I would always get gift cards or gift certificates for that. I got a wine opener once. We got a bunch of free business cards. I remember Moo did a social media card with them, which was pretty cool, and you got a stack of like 100 of those. We were just talking about the other day in another group. But hats, socks, like tchotchkes.
Swag.
Yeah. So, but yeah, so we will no longer know who reigns supreme.
Well,
ranking.
Justin Bieber and Barack Obama are still right up there at 92 and 99. So.
Well, thank goodness.
Yep. We'll leave it at that.
All
right. Good. Who's next? Let's not all jump in here.
I'll play. That's fine.
Thank you,
I've never heard of Klout.
That may be part of the problem.
Yeah. You guys are just speaking German, as far as I'm concerned.
Or I think to your point, though, too, Patrick, true, more like social media marketing professionals cared about Klout, but nobody else did. Meaning, you're a digital marketer, but you were using Twitter there, but not
influencer category. This is before people paid people for that. So it was sort of the precursor to, give somebody a bunch of money to be an influencer on your Instagram.
So I'm jumping back over to Paid advertising,
Mm-hmm.
AdWords. There is, I have not seen it yet. I haven't gotten any notification for it. Maybe you've spotted it on one of our accounts. They're beta testing responsive search ads with 3 headlines.
No, I have not seen that yet.
Yeah, so they're expanding to 3 headlines and taking the long description from 80 characters up to 90 characters.
Wow.
In addition to the 3rd headline. And with them being responsive ads, what they're looking to do is you set up as many as 15 different headlines and 4 descriptions, and then through AI, it will build out its own series of ads.
Mm-hmm.
And you can pin different different titles to go with different descriptions, so you don't have any awkward carryover. Or if there's, the example they gave was if there's any like legal context that have to go, like legal text that has to go with a specific title and a specific description to go along with that way. But the purpose of this is to A, test the longer ads, B, get rid of manual A/B testing. This becomes an A/B testing.
Interesting.
Yeah. So it's all part of moving towards that AI end of the
Similar to their
spectrum.
suggestion ads that they're coming up with now,
Yeah.
right? I mean, they're enabled, and you just have to go in and say, do I want it or not?
Right. Yes, no. So this is, I didn't get too deep into it as far as when and who's getting access to it. It's one of those things where I might not see it on any of our accounts for 2 months, and then all of a sudden by 2 months and 2 weeks, we'll have
It's
it
there.
on every single one of our accounts. This is also for responsive ads. There isn't any indication that this won't eventually come down to, as far as the third title and a longer description, won't eventually roll out to standard text ads.
So this is to clarify, responsive ad units. So this is actually for the display network.
Responsive text ads.
Responsive text ads.
Yeah, responsive text ads.
Yeah, which would be in display or display select, not what we deal with a lot of times in when we talk about paid search. Expanded text ads. Those are staying the same. There's no tests there. So this isn't in search. This is in display.
I might have to get deeper into that and see that.
Okay.
It didn't say anything about specifically in display.
That's what I would be interested in to know if, because typically that the way that you mention it is more language used in display network. So that's why I'm curious. I could totally get them expanding it in display. Expanding it in search gets real interesting, right?
Right.
Because all of a sudden the real estate gets taken up. And what was the source that you were checking out?
Search engine land.
Interesting. Now I have to look.
Yeah.
I'm anxious to see the link to it, and it'll be great to talk about that. Looks like new. No, you're right. I mean, it's responsive search ads can show 3 headlines. So fascinating. Haven't seen anything yet. So that just came out this week, that announcement?
This was the 4th. This was published, so it's a week ago.
All right. Well, we'll keep an eye on it.
Yeah.
I mean, look at the same thing with Search Console. They said you get notified. We wait, and then all of a sudden everything has it.
Yeah.
So.
Speaking of AdWords, Patrick is ever cursing at the transition between the old interface and the new interface. And I just saw that it's been announced that they're going to retire the old interface at the end of the year now.
End of the year.
Oh, good.
So you might have another handful of months of dealing with
Great.
that.
My favorite is that ever-loved signal of a new version of AdWords available. Please refresh. Right after you refresh the page.
Always good.
Well, I guess we can talk about Google I/O.
All right.
Okay. So one of the biggest things that stuck out to me and probably many people, and you may have seen a lot of chatter about this on social media, is the duplex development, which is Google Duplex. It's a new capability that they're going to be testing this summer that functions within Google Assistant to help you make reservations, schedule appointments, and, for instance, get holiday hours from businesses. So you provide the date and time for your reservation or appointment, and the assistant will call the business to coordinate for you. We listened to it here in the office. It was very eerie.
Super creepy.
Super creepy because it is a very human voice, and it has, like, the verbal pauses, like I just said, like, or, And someone speculated that might be just like when we are doing verbal pauses to help us gather our thoughts, that's actually the artificial intelligence trying to better hone the conversation and understand, and they're kind of buying time just like we do when we're talking, which I think is really interesting. But anyway, I couldn't find in my prep time here before the podcast exactly whether this duplex would interface with any opportunity to make a phone call on the internet, like if they clicked on a phone, if you were to use a phone number from a website, but I assume that it's going to be with Google My Business, because there's been all these developments with Google My Business in the past year with adding the ability to book an appointment through Google My Business. So again, I guess it's just going back to one of my hobby horses of, we should all be using Google My Business as a point of optimization and for local and for opportunities like this that might be rolling out in the near future for those Google Assistant users.
That's a really good point. Part of it was very interesting from the technology perspective, but part of it, certainly is pretty creepy in the way that it can interact with you.
Yeah. And Google, I guess, so a lot of people have been up in arms about this because it can be seen as deceptive.
Right.
Because the people on the other end won't know that they're actually talking to a robot. So that has all kind of ethical, concerns. But I guess Google has said that it will include an element of disclosure with this tool. So that'll be interesting to see.
It still felt very like Westworld in here when we were listening to it, because it had, when even in a non-traditional, like not straightforward conversation, like the second conversation we listened to was, it still picked up on the confusion of the place that it was called to make the reservation. The person either didn't understand English very well, or maybe English was the second language, and it figured that, like it understood that, and got through that sort of awkward interpersonal situation with the person on the other end.
Gotcha.
Right,
okay,
right.
Bye.
Yeah, it was super creepy.
So even with that, I guess, criticism of the ethical concerns, I've also seen a lot of people praising it as a development because people who might have anxiety disorders or, for whatever other reason is, can't or are not comfortable making phone calls for these sorts of things, then they can use the assistant to help them. So it does have some interesting implications for accessibility.
It's a great point.
Yeah.
I think, did they give a timeline when that change was going to roll? Over the course of the year, probably.
I just saw that they're going to be apparently testing it this summer.
Okay, interesting.
That's all that I saw.
Well, I think to build off of that and kind of to back up a little bit for those not paying attention to the tech industry this week, Google I/O was the 2-day event that happened where Google shares all of the updates and rollouts that they're going to push, an event that I think is actually becoming much larger than even an Apple product announcement anymore, somewhat on the level of, Facebook's F8 conference as well. So Google posted up on Webmaster Blog all of the sessions that they felt SEOs should pay attention to. So I did some digging into that. I did some reading as well as watching some of the I/O sessions, some of these. And it was interesting that a lot of those that they were calling out for SEOs centered around security, web performance, load times, web accessibility, leveraging AMP and Firebase for faster sites, using their some tools, Chrome tools like Lighthouse and Chrome UX reporting for monitoring web performance. So all of the things that they list out come back to a couple trends, and that's performance. So we've stated it before, I think, in previous episodes of the Redirect as well as on our blog, that 2018 is certainly, we know it's the year of the mobile first index that is currently in existence, but focusing time and attention on the performance of a site is very much well worth the effort. So that's a big, big takeaway. I think the SEOs or even just digital marketing communication folks should be paying attention to is that, Google's coming out and they're mentioning all of these things, but what they really are rooted in is the performance of a website. as well as the security. GDPR being one big deal. Performance, does it load? Does it provide a good user experience? Now, going deeper on that, they had a couple good ones. I think even Search Engine Roundtable, Barry Schwartz, he called it out. There are a couple that probably most should pay attention to. The one I don't really agree with, and that's the one that I think it's, was it Marina and then John Mueller. They presented on something that was a little bit more basic, I thought, or very basic, but it was directed more at, I almost want to say it was almost directed more at junior developers, but maybe it's directed at senior developers too, around ways in which they can be building sites to improve the presence for search. So they covered everything from hosting environments to CMS selection, plugins being used, structured data, etc. And the underlying tone there was that John Mueller went on to kind of mention that Google didn't feel that they were typically giving developers much insight on what makes a site more search friendly. I kind of called that a little bit of BS. I think they've actually always provided that detail. Now, you certainly have to do your own research and not be lazy about it. And perhaps you need to work closer with your local search professional on that to better understand what makes a site function properly in search and not just look pretty. And building on that too, big one is a lot of the modern JavaScript powered sites that we all interact with. You won't know it, but it's usually those sites that provide a really great, engaging user experience. But the interface a lot of times will use a single HTML file and then pull all the details in through JavaScript. The problem with that is a big issue for search. The way that Google handles it right now is that they're going to look at that and they're going to say there's an empty response there to a search engine, meaning the inability to index that is quite high, or the indexability of it is very poor. The goal is always to ensure that a search engine can understand what a site is about, and right now Google processes sites like that are very JavaScript heavy in a two-phase process. They will do an initial crawl and then a second one a few days later that ends up rendering all of the JavaScript. So it's not that they can't, right? That the discussion has always been like, oh, can Google render JavaScript or not? They can. They've just come out and said, we can, but this is how we've always gone about it. And it's like they're going to look at it initially, and that's what they're initially indexing you off of. And then a few days later, it's coming back in and looking at everything. I don't know if that's a scalability thing. I don't think anybody's really talked about it much, but what it can do is it can leave out a lot of really great pieces of content and a lot of depth about what a page or a site can be about. So they're supposed to be rolling some things out, what they're calling dynamic rendering. Sounds a little bit like cloaking, but done in a nice way. But in a nutshell, I'm reading this verbatim. In a nutshell, dynamic rendering is the principle of sending normal client-side rendered content to users and sending fully server-side rendered content to search engines and to other crawlers that need it. AKA, there's content the user is going to see, and only the user, and then there's content that the search engine is going to see.
It's interesting. It's almost like a canonical tag.
Yeah, so there's even deeper information in here that's a problem too right now, is that they're looking at the canonical tags in JS-heavy sites. So this is totally like some geeky technical SEO stuff. I get it, but JavaScript meaning things like Angular-built sites, which we deal with a number of those here, and there's some. It's very interesting to see like I'll call first or second generation Angular sites and having to deal with those versus like the most current procedure and how they're loading content and their file and URL structure and stuff and the problems that it can create for search. So in my opinion, that's what I would have had the developers pay attention to. Forget the rest of the basic stuff and focus on these other things. So but everything is just surrounding around. It's performance. If your site is slow, I think you're going to get dinged for it. You know, if it can't load across all devices for all people.
I'm really looking forward to that happening. And I need to see more of it because there's still so many junky sites showing up in SERPs.
Yeah, and it's still going to continue. I was on one the other day that still served up an M.dot mobile site,
geez.
you know, and I was blown away. It was a major retailer that I'm not gonna call out at this time, but I was actually pretty blown away that they hadn't transitioned over.
Wow.
So, you know, those large catalogers are going to be the ones that are going to have a hard time shifting everything over. So, man, it's a lot happening. I'm anxious to see what the fallout is from GDPR here in a few weeks, and because nothing will probably happen until somebody gets sued, and then we'll go from there.
Oh wait, that was me?
Yeah, exactly. Oh man, long live Klout.
It was a good ride. Man.
What was your Klout score?
My highest I ever had was a 72. But when
Dang.
I logged in this last time after a very long hiatus, it was like 50 something.
I was 45. I felt pretty good about that.
72 versus 45. Wow.
Maven. Have you ever? You never?
No, I never got into it.
Well, there's still time.
I would have loved it. I'm sure.
There's still time.
Pretty interesting. Yeah.
When was its peak? 2013, you said?
It's been a while. I want to say like 2012.
Yeah.
2013 maybe.
And then it just died.
And then it just then people just stopped getting rewarded for things, I feel like. And so
it's around the same time that Dig died.
Oh, Dig.
Yeah. Man. And this year, DMOZ. I mean, Klout, what's next?
We just talked about DMOZ yesterday.
Yeah.
All right. Well, cool. Lots of stuff happening as usual. Until next time, good luck.
This has been the Redirect Podcast. Check out the show notes at blacktruckmedia.com and add us on iTunes and Stitcher.